Hey everyone, and welcome to our Anaconda installation lecture. In this one, we'll go over how to download and install Anaconda, download the zip file containing the notebooks for the upcoming sections, and then finally, how to launch the Jupyter Notebook. So let's go ahead here and get started. The first thing we'll need to do is download Anaconda, which we can do from their website over at anaconda.com. And you might be wondering what Anaconda is. Well, Anaconda is a distribution of Python that comes prepared with all of the essential data analysis libraries and packages, such as NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, scikit-learn, and more. It's very widely used and used by nearly every data professional, as well as being trusted by some of the world's largest companies. So it's good to be familiar with Anaconda, as you'll find it used nearly everywhere you go. Anaconda comes with a development environment known as Jupyter Notebook, which is essentially just another IDE, or integrated development environment, such as Visual Studio Code. But Jupyter is very popular within the data analysis and data science community, as it allows us to display images, write Markdown, as well as write and run code, all within the same notebook. With that said, if you do have a preferred IDE, such as VS Code or PyCharm, or any other for that matter, then please feel free to use the IDE instead. The code and subject content that you'll learn in this course will work regardless of your chosen IDE. To download Anaconda, from the Anaconda homepage, you can navigate up and select the free download button over here in the top right. And from this page, you'll get to download the installer for your operating system. The web page will automatically detect your OS and then provide the most appropriate option. So here I get the Windows installer, but you can also find the other installers from this link down here. So I'll click to download the Windows installer, and then once this is downloaded, we'll go through our install options. So I've gone ahead and opened up the downloaded installer, and I'll start by clicking next. And then here we have a license agreement, which I'll go ahead and agree to. And then for our next option, I'll choose to just install it for me. But if others use your PC and will need to use Anaconda, then feel free to choose the all users option. And then I'll just leave it as the default path. If you're on a Windows computer, you'll get a few different advanced installation options here, such as create start menu shortcuts, add Anaconda to the path environment variable, register as default Python, and clear the package cache. So personally, I select all of these, but I'll explain what they all do so that you can decide for yourself. So to start with, the start menu shortcuts option will basically create some shortcuts on your start menu, providing quick access to the Anaconda related applications. Next, we have the add Anaconda to path environment variable. So the path environment variable is a list of directories that your operating system searches when you type a command into the command line interface. By enabling this option, Anaconda will add its installation directory to the path, making it easier to run Anaconda commands and utilities from any command prompts without needing to specify the full path to the Anaconda executable. It mentions here that this option is not recommended, and the reason for this is that it can result in a few different conflicts if you have other versions of Python installed. If you write a lot of other different programs with Python, and or you already know what this option does, then feel free to choose the option that suits you the best. But in most cases, even though it says not recommended, I would recommend checking this option. And next we have the register as default Python. And basically what this does is it registers Anaconda as the default Python interpreter. And this means that any Python related commands or scripts will use the Anaconda Python installation by default. And finally, clear the package cache will clear the download cache after installation, freeing up some disk space. So I'll select this option. And with these changes made, let's go ahead and click install. Okay, and now that our install has finished, if we go to our search menu and search for Anaconda, we'll find a few different options here. We'll explore the Anaconda prompt later on, but for now, let's select Anaconda Navigator. When it opens up, we'll see quite a few different options here, and some of these you might recognize. This is basically a place that allows us to quickly and easily view and open different development tools and applications. One of these options is the Jupyter Notebook. We can see that from the description here that Jupyter Notebook is a web-based interactive computing notebook environment that allows us to edit and run human-readable documents while describing the data analysis. So this is a perfect tool for us to use to not only learn about Python, but also to perform and carry out our data analysis tasks. Let's go ahead here and click Launch, and this will then open a new browser window and take us to the Jupyter Navigator page. And this will open with your default browser, and I would recommend using a modern browser such as Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge for this, as these browsers are the best supported. Alternatives like Firefox should also work fine too. So something to note here is that if we look at the URL of this web page, we'll see that it's not actually accessing the internet, and that it is in fact running off of our local host at port 8888. And all the folders listed here are actually folders that we have on our computer. Attached to this lecture, you'll find the course resources that were also available to download at the start of the course. If we download this zip file and open it up, we'll find different folders for each of our sections. And then within each folder, for our Python sections, you'll find different .ipynb files, often referred to as IPy notebook files. And these files here are Jupyter Notebook files. If we go back into our Jupyter Notebook and then navigate to this folder, making sure it's unzipped, you'll find these same IPy notebook files. And if we open the first one up here for our Python crash course section, we'll be able to scroll through and see all the information inside. Okay, so in this lecture, we've downloaded and installed Anaconda, as well as looked at how to access the IPy notebook files. And we'll be using these files throughout the rest of these different sections. If you're ever having any issues with your code, it can be helpful to come back to these files and then compare your code with the final code just to see if you've made any typos or any other mistakes. In the next lecture, we'll explore some more of our Jupyter Notebook environment, as well as Markdown formatting. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you in the next lecture.